konnichiwa. Wow. Singibonile ngilanga. Konnichiwa. Nyazibongela belinganga. Konnichiwa. Wow. Singibonile ngilanga. Konnichiwa.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, it's Leanne Kiezer. Thank you for checking. It often comes up as Kaiser. I don't know why. All I'm saying, people, is I before what? I before E except after C, right? That's how it works. That's how it's written. I wanted to say a quick thank you because well, first of all, you called it stalking. We call it networking. So I think this forum has given us a lot of opportunities to really meet our heroes. Admittedly, I had been networking with Connie on LinkedIn over several years as probably my counterpart at a competitor or a potential collaborator and partner. And so the Thinkerneur forum has really given me the opportunity to meet a long-lost hero, first of all, as well as the opportunity to meet other corporates like yourselves. Well, everyone in this room, I suspect, has some investment or interest in making an impact. And partnership is how we'll get there. So thank you to Bogosi, thank you to Nestle for setting up the forum, and thank you to all the people that I'll be stalking/networking with in the coming days and weeks and years. And the other thing I wanted to say thank you for is I needed an explanation for this thing that happens where I get to work, and next thing it's 6:15 at night, and my husband is losing his mind because I should be home with the children. And I sometimes take his call, and sometimes I don't because I'm scared of being shouted at. But now I'm just going to say, babe, it's my career. Anyway, so very grateful to be here and to be sharing the stage with like-minded purpose partners. Thank you very much. And so I thought what I could do is just begin by giving you a quick overview of Danone, who we are and what we do, and what is our purpose and vision that has led us to be what we believe a corporate driving impact in South Africa. So I'm actually going to go into a small history lesson, which is talking about our dual purpose. Because over 50 years ago, one of our former CEOs, he's a guy called Antoine Rebu, he actually was the first CEO to coin the concept of a dual purpose, which means, yes, as corporates, we are there to make a profit. That's true. But with a dual purpose, it means that you shouldn't just be thriving and surviving to make a profit, but rather to have a positive impact on your society and in your community. And it makes perfect sense if you talk about true business sustainability, that from Danone's perspective, we want to sell yogurt to thriving, economically active, healthy South Africans so that we can sell more. And so it makes sense for us, from a business perspective, to invest in our community so that they are economically active and thriving, and so all of us together can sustain each other. So making a profit, first of all, is not something that we should be embarrassed about. It's important for corporates to make a profit. And the way that we will get there is by investing in communities to make sure they come on the journey with us. And those two things, the dual purpose of investing in community and profit, is what our colleague Antoine Rebu referred to over 50 years ago. And he had this nice quote that I like to put up, but he talks about corporate responsibility does not end at the factory gate or the office door. And isn't that true? Anyone who has that spark in their heart, that feeling of career versus job, if you have that career feeling, you know you've got that little bit of spark inside you that wants to be able to achieve more for your community. And this is thankfully, I think I'm in a safe space working at Danone because it allows that sort of spark to thrive. And so our mission as a corporate is bringing health through foods to as many people as possible, and in our region, as many Southern Africans as possible. And imagine being a registered dietitian working for a corporate with a mission like that. It's really something special. And Isaac Caruso, which was actually the founding father of Danone over 100 years ago, he actually developed yogurt as a sort of medicine to address gut health issues that were in children in Spain at the time. And yogurt was a new invention, this application of cultures and live biotics into milk to get this thickened texture and health benefits was a really new concept back then. In fact, it was so new and novel that it was only sold in pharmacies at the time. So it was almost viewed as a medicine with the intention of addressing the gut health issues of children in Spain. And so it really is in our heritage that we are prioritizing health through foods, and it's something that we've carried through over our 100 years of production and our multinational footprint, and of course bringing that heritage to South Africa as well. And so most recently, we've been able to formalize that with some ESG jargon that we've all referenced today. It does become a bit overwhelming. But Danone has something which we call the impact journey, which is this wheel on the third sort of part of the page. And the impact journey is really talking to three different pillars. The first one addressing health through foods. So how do we make sure that we continue to uphold the health credentials of the products that we sell? The second part is to protect and regenerate nature. So all of those aspects that Kate was referring to in terms of biodiversity, regenerative agriculture, protecting water supply, decreasing waste to landfill, recyclable packaging, all of those sort of KPIs will fall under that part of the wheel. And then thirdly, we support communities to thrive, and that's kind of the orange part of the wheel. So for each one of those things, there's a roadmap, there's KPIs. It gets a little tiring. So if you have some time for reading or you want to dive further, come and connect with me. But I think what's important about every one of those KPIs is that it is not a CSI side stream. When we pick a project, it has to be robustly criticized, stress tested by our executive committee and board in order to get the go-ahead to go. We're back. That was the go-ahead. So every single project gets pressure tested to ensure that, one, it will have a meaningful impact in terms of what we're trying to achieve with our community and society, but two, is that it's not a CSI side stream or expense to the business, which is something therefore unsustainable, but rather that the project we're investing in is investing back into our corporate needs, into our business needs. And that's how we ensure, in the spirit of the dual purpose, that all our sustainability work is in fact sustainable. So what I'd like to do is, from that wheel of robustness, is just highlight quickly 3 examples. And if you have any questions after that, we can take it from there. I don't know why I always battle with these things. Alas. Okay, so this one is just drilling down a little bit in more detail about this pillar of addressing health through foods. And so what is our intention? Health through foods to as many Southern Africans as possible. And as Bohosi pointed out, in fact, we've well defined the problem in South Africa. And undernutrition, micronutrient deficiencies, continues to be a pressing issue in South Africa, where 4 in 10 children continue to suffer with zinc and vitamin A deficiency, as well as 1 in 10 suffering from iron deficiency. And in the end, this affects ability to learn and concentrate, it affects immunity, and it affects growth. So as a corporate invested in health through foods, we've selected a fortification profile in our products that helps to close that micronutrient gap. And this is delivered in South Africa's #1 in spoonable dairy, which is NutriDay. Yay. So NutriDay, although it sounds like an ad campaign, sorry for that, that wasn't intended. But NutriDay is one of our proud purpose brands, which is formulated with carefully selected added nutrients intended to close that nutrient gap. NutriDay is not a global Danone brand, but a local one, and a very good showcase of how we developed a product to address local health needs. And that's what we mean by delivering health through foods. And in fact, if you look at that picture, our whole portfolio of products is addressing different health needs across the life stages. I'll quickly just drill down into Danone. Some of you know it, hopefully the men do. But Danone also is not a global brand, but a local brand. It's one that was developed in South Africa for South African men, because men are active, working, hungry, and they needed sustainable nutrition and hunger fill on the go. And so that's why Danone was developed, was with a local health need in mind. I see you, yeah. Some people are celebrating in the corner. And so this is what we mean about health through foods. This campaign is an example from the green part of the pillar, which is all about protecting and regenerating nature. And it's a recycling project that Danone has adopted with the support of incredible partners. It was one that Kate referenced in her presentation from Interwaste just now. So basically, the idea is this. We know that we all know that when you produce yogurt, it needs to be delivered to the consumer in a way that maintains the integrity and safety of that product. And plastic packaging is actually the way that we do that in a cost-effective way today. Should plastic be demonized? Only if it doesn't have a suitable end-of-life solution. So provided that a corporate is taking the measures and the intention to make sure that there's an end-of-life solution for the plastic that they put onto the market, in that case, it becomes a circular economy. We pull the plastic back and reuse it or give it a second life purpose, and it stays out of landfill and out of nature. Where plastic becomes a problem is where that end-of-life solution hasn't been considered. And I'm really proud to say that with the support of Interwaste and other waste management companies like that, people are seeing the light, corporates are seeing the light, and this topic has been given a huge amount of attention over the last 3 to 5 years. So, Danone produces NutriDay in yogurt 6-packs, which uses a type of plastic called high-impact polystyrene. And through the support of innovation partners, we can see that that plastic can actually be converted into other useful tools. At one time, we were converting it into desks that we donated to learners to enable them to be able to learn and, have a safe space to read and I don't know, study, whatever you do at a desk in a classroom. Hopefully you don't eat your lunch, whatever. And most recently, converting plastic into bricks. And so what we do is we go to schools and we activate schools as yogurt tub collection points. We do education with learners about the value of waste if treated correctly. And we tell learners that after they've enjoyed their delicious NutriDay, they should clean out the yogurt tub, keep the tub aside, separation at source, right? And Danone, in turn, will come together with the upcycling and collection partners, in this case it was Interwaste, collect those tubs back and convert them into something useful. In fact, on Thursday, we're launching a library which has been built using Envirolite lightweight bricks, which were made using upcycled yogurt tubs. And so it's this really clear showcase to children and learners that if you treat your waste correctly, it can produce something useful, like a library or a learning center or a desk. And so it places the responsibility on all of us to make sure that that plastic stays out of landfill, out of nature, and it gets used to produce something useful. That's called tubs to classrooms, by the way. I got carried away. And then the last example, just an example of really supporting communities to thrive, is that I guess it's a similar example to one that Connie produced earlier. But most of our farming suppliers, most of our dairy suppliers are based in KZN. And at the end of last year, we excitingly signed on a new emerging farmer, which is based in the Eastern Cape. It was a partnership with Amadlelo Agri, and in particular, Noga Dairy. I will take pronunciation tips after. So Anyway, what's exciting about this is that it is an emerging black-owned farmer. It's a farm where we have invested ourselves to skill the community so that they can continue to sustainably produce milk at a standard and a quality which is needed by Danone. And so, in our sort of business needs, was this important? It is, because there's a business continuity plan attached to this. We got a huge fright, as did others, I think, when the riots of 2021 took place in KZN, and actually our farming systems were shut down over that time, and the consequences for our business and for dairy were dire. And so investing in new emerging farmers outside of that province. For example, this one in the Eastern Cape, where at the same time we can also uplift women in particular, because these are women-owned farms with skills and with sort of sustainable income in the form of milk supply, and that relationship to be able to supply Danone continuously is a way of sustaining impact. And so that's all from me. This is one last shot of our impact journey. If you have any questions or you'd like to learn more, network with me on LinkedIn. And thank you again for the opportunity.